Welcome to the Classy Stevo podcast, where every day is a golden moment in time. We talk about the news, artistic culture, training methods, nutrition, and more for classic bodybuilding, as well as updates on the fitness industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The show is about to get on rolling. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Classy Stevo podcast show, where every day is a golden moment in time. So before we pick off from our last episode, I wanted to kind of cover an interesting topic really quick. Just a new YouTube video that I released. You can also watch it on the channel. It's just uploaded as of yesterday. But basically what I did is this week, last week rather, I took a full week off from the gym. So now sometimes instead of doing a typical deload week, you know, where you basically take weight off the bar and stuff, just go lighter. What I did is I ended up taking a full week off, but keeping it as an active rest week. And now I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, like why would you be active during your rest week? But basically what I mean by that is just doing low intensity cardio. So I took off a full week. Normally I take 5 days at the gym. So what I did is I supplemented those 5 days to do my low intensity cardio just outdoors. So every day through the last week, what I did is I went out to my favorite bike trails. If you saw that on my Instagram, you definitely know what I'm talking about. I love biking outdoors, very enjoyable cardio, but just low intensity biking. And I biked roughly 6 miles every single day. So I know that sounds like a lot, but honestly, it only took about 40 minutes for the bike ride, just at a steady pace. Now, if you did 6 mile run, it's a little bit of a different story, but this wasn't nearly as bad. So I just did 6 miles a day on the bike just for steady state cardio to keep me, cardiovascular fit. So when I get back into the gym, I will be in tip top shape. You know, it won't be too much of a hard time trying to get back into the regular gym cardio and whatnot. So I did that, and it keeps, the blood flow moving and all that good stuff. So I definitely believe in active rest weeks rather than just sitting, all day, every day for the next week. I think that, just to keep your body in check and stuff. And once you get back into the gym, I guarantee you will feel like a newborn person because you will have so much energy. You'll be completely refreshed. I just love taking a full week off every so often. Generally, I would say maybe every 2 to 3 months or so, just taking a week off. And I know, trust me, it's not sometimes your mindset wants to keep going to the gym. And it took me several weeks to really push myself to eventually take that week off. So it took me time to really convince myself. So I eventually just listened to my body instead of my mind in this case. And I took the week off. So if you want to see the full video episode, it's on my YouTube channel. So be sure to click on that video if you want to see it. But anyway, moving on, just picking up, we kind of left off midway or majority of the way through the silver era part of the bodybuilding evolution series. So I'm just going to wrap up the silver era and kind of the transition. So towards the end of the silver era, like I said, it's generally between the 1940s and I would say roughly around the 60s, mid to late 60s. So we kind of saw the transition period between the 1960s and 70s where guys started moving from all natural bodybuilding to more of an experimentally enhanced era. So in other words, this was an era where guys started to take basic enhancements, or if you want to in layman's terms, drugs. So this was kind of newer. There was only maybe about a couple, maybe 3 or 4 drugs out in the market at the time. Nothing like today. We have like a bajillion different types of enhancements that bodybuilders, especially pro bodybuilders, use, on a yearly basis. A lot more out there, but back then it was very basic. If you want to look more into the enhancements, I'm not going to necessarily cover each individual name and term and everything like that, but it was very basic just to, cover that overall. But anyway, so we saw guys like Larry Scott and stuff in the mid 60s. That's when he was more in his prime. And Vince Carando was still very active in that time. And he helped train Larry Scott in his gym, as well as many of those other idols throughout that time. And also, as you well know, the very famous Arnold Schwarzenegger was just getting introduced into the bodybuilding industry in America in the late 60s. So that was more towards the late 60s. But that's when he really started his journey before he became a very famous, well-known idol and figurehead, pretty much the main figurehead in the bodybuilding industry today. But that's when he first came over from the other side of the world, basically. Anyway, so this was a really interesting period. This is when we started seeing more bigger, stronger, broader guys, more defined generally, just because of partially because of the enhancements. Obviously, they still put in just as much work as the guys of the silver era. But some good question kind of to wrap up the silver era series that I really wanted to pass by you guys, that I've been thinking about this for a while, honestly. But, we have another generation after generation, youth generations before me getting into the bodybuilding industry now, like I did when I was a kid. And I wanted to ask you guys what you thought of trying to really push that silver era motivational influence on the youth generations, or, future generations that are growing up. Because, just as well as I do, any of you that just joined the gym, or, if you remember the first time you joined the gym, it was very intimidating. And, you see these huge guys that are just monstrous, and they kind of present false representations, unless you get on actual gear and stuff. But I felt like the silver era would be such a great influence for these younger generations, because they're attainable physiques, and it's more realistic standards for people that are just starting the gym. It makes them work towards something that's definitely achievable with their own genetics. So I don't know. It's just something that came across my mind. I thought it was a really interesting question to propose to you. I would love to hear what your comments are in the comment section, just on that question alone. I thought it was really, really interesting, but just something to kind of leave on that note. But anyway, guys, so that's pretty much the main part of the silver era. It went all the way through around the 60s, and then right during the transitionary period into the early 70s is when we started seeing more larger physiques with greater builds, people generally pushing more weight, just overall just a very big, huge breakthrough in the fitness or bodybuilding industry with enhancements and stuff, and just building all kinds of bigger physiques. So I'm going to be getting more into that on the next series or episode here. So be sure to leave a like, guys. Let me know what you think. Sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm still trying to learn to improvise a little bit more on these podcasts, but leave a like below and feel free to share this with others. I will see all of you in the next episode here, and don't forget that every day is golden, guys. Cheers. Thank you again for tuning in to the Classy Stevo podcast. Material is generally posted on a weekly basis, so please stay tuned in for the next release. Your support, guys, is greatly appreciated, truly. So feel free to share this podcast with others and spread the positivity with them. And always remember to have a golden day. Cheers, guys.